Hey, good evening, everybody. Peter Vexelman here, and I have Julie Muse on the other end. Julie, how are you?
Oh my goodness, I am doing so awesome, Peter, and especially because this is my favorite night of the week because I get to be here with you guys across America. And guys, as you're popping on, if you would, let us know where you're from. We're just curious, right? Like we've got Shane from Cumming, Georgia. Brad Woods is in Marietta. I am in Port Barre, Louisiana right now. Normally I'm in Dahlonega, Georgia. But so excited to be with you guys tonight. We're going to be sharing something that, you know what I've never done is I've never shared what we're going to share tonight. I just realized to the open public. So I'm pretty excited about that. We got a Jamie in Gainesville, Georgia. John from Rochester, New York. What's up, John? How you been, man? Jackie from Jonesboro. We got Graham in Phoenix, Arizona. Gordon from Delaware.
I'm curious, actually, now.
Huh?
I said, now I'm curious. You said you're going to be sharing something you never shared before. Now, I want to know what it is. I mean, like, why don't I know about this?
Well, we just talked about it on Instagram.
Well, I know.
I don't know.
I know.
I've never shared virtual driving for dollars before, but we're going to share that along with some tricks and trades of the app. And no matter if it's raining or there's a pandemic going on, you can find deals driving for dollars right from your home. Gordon, hope you're doing well. How's your sister doing? We had a live event a couple of weeks ago and we were able to meet a lot of our partners. So I just feel like we're already best buds already. We got Dana and Ron. So glad you're here. Vitaly from Portland, Oregon. But so glad to have you guys.
Hey, you know, while we're waiting here for the next minute or so, we might as well announce it, right? Our next live event, guys, make a note of it. September 17th, 18th, and 19th. And then the 17th is going to be just the VIP day. And it's going to be amazing because this VIP day is not going to be just dinner, which was pretty darn awesome the last time we did it. This VIP day is going to be working day. We're going to get in there. We're going to jump on the phones. We're going to utilize what Julie's sharing with us tonight. And we're going to take it to the next level. So if you're mentally blocking off September and you want to get into a weekend where it's not just learning, but it's actually doing, that Friday the 17th, it's going to be a deal-a-thon, basically. We're going to be hitting the phones together. We're going to be strategizing through the calls. We're going to get contracts out, offers out. So this is one VIP day you don't want to miss. But either way, plan on being in Atlanta. We'll have the registration page up here probably next week or two. So be aware of it, but block off those dates.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so flipping excited about this next live event. The one we just had was incredible. But I'll tell you something about Peter and myself and Rafa, our whole team is we're all about leveling up, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to be better at this one than we were at the last one. So, really it boils down to this next one. We're going to work, right? You guys are not just going to come and sit and listen and learn. We're going to make calls on Friday. We're going to try to get some appointments set with everybody so that when they leave that event and go back home, they've got actual appointments to go to. So mentally block that off September 17th, 18th, and 19th. And you've got to be there. You've got to be there. We'll have tickets on sale here in just a couple of weeks. Yeah, right, like guys. Gordon said, role play inside of things. This is role playing all day. Except for Gordon, you're going to be on the phone making calls.
Well, and that's what he said. Making calls is even better. So all right, guys, we're going to get started here in just a minute or so. We got some really cool stuff for you today. Today, we're going to literally show you how to accelerate your business, how you should be leveling up in this business, how I'll tell you, a lot of people are not doing what we're going to teach you today. They don't have access to it. Some people don't even know what the heck this is. Okay. And so today is a way to get an advantage over your competition. Okay. Because I always tell people technology is a must have. Like if you don't have it, you're at a disadvantage. Right. And I'll be telling you, honestly, guys, a lot of people still don't have it. And so literally today, what we're going to show you, what we're going to demo for you, what Julie's going to walk you through is how to get that advantage in your marketplace. And so very, very important training that we're going to be talking with, discussing today. Julie's going to actually go into a full blown demo, meaning we're not going to just talk concepts. We're going to be talking, she's going to show you how to utilize this and these techniques and strategies. But this is like, again, depending on how serious you are about the real estate business, is how seriously you are going to take, is how you're going to take what we're going to teach you today, because it's very, very important. But before we get into the deal-driven training, before we get into the shortcut of all shortcuts, before we get into showing you how you could literally from the comforts of your home and the ease of your telephone could be building your real estate business, I just want to take a step back and introduce us, because some of you guys know us, but some of you don't. Some of you may be following us forever. Some of you guys may be the first time you're ever seeing us. Some of y'all may be talking to some team members and you hear our names in passing, but you're like, who is this Peter and Julie? So to some of you guys, with this may be the first time we're really introduced to you guys. But again, as I mentioned before, my name is Peter Vekselman. I'm a real estate investor. On the other side is Julie Muse. She, like myself, is a real estate investor. For many, many years, we ran a very, very successful real estate investment company, did a tremendous amount of deals. We were very successful until one day we said, how do we change from just us doing deals wherever we are? And by that time, we were already doing deals in several markets across the United States. How do we kind of penetrate the whole United States? And how do we figure out a model where we could do deals all over the United States? And that initially is where the partner-driven model was initially conceived and when it was born. And that was a number of years ago. And I could tell you the partner-driven model is alive and well, and we are thriving, and we're hitting on all cylinders now. We're getting better, by the way. We're still getting better. We're still doing things better today than we did yesterday, and tomorrow we're going to do things even better. We have some amazing plans for partner driven. Okay, we have some amazing things that we want to do with partner driven. We have some incredible goals, but right now, if I were to give you a report card, we're doing more deals with partners than we ever have before. We are on track to do even more deals with partners than we are now. We have more excited and more partners right now that are really gravitated toward this model. And so you may be saying, well, what is the partner-driven model? Well, the partner-driven model is very simple. As a real estate investment company, we now partner with people, okay, all over the United States, and we help them do real estate deals by providing what are really known as pillars of success when it comes to real estate investing. And how we do that is very simple. Number one, every one of our partners has unprecedented access to us, which means we coach, mentor, make our partners accountable to us, and really show them how to level up in this business. Okay. You know, when our partners are with us across the board, every single one of them gets overall a lot more savvy as real estate investors. The second thing we do for our partners is we actually get involved on the lead gen side. Very important is if you guys know anything about real estate, you know one thing, it ain't easy finding deals, and it's even harder finding the right kind of deals, right? So what we do to help our partners find the right kind of deals is we actually help them with lead gen, right? We have, and that's part of what we're going to be talking about today. And even beyond what we're going to be sharing with you, our partners have access to automate what we're going to be talking to you guys today. The next thing we do is we provide capital to, well, we provide technology, and I don't want to spend too much time on that because we're going to be hitting that for the next, 30 or 40 minutes, but we provide the latest and the greatest technology to all our partners called an app called Deal Driven. And Julie's going to literally demo that for you guys here today, just to give you you could see the upside of that. Once we find the right properties, I provide 100% of the capital to close on these deals. And then when we sell them, we just split the profits down the middle, 50-50. And that right there is the partner-driven model, and that is how we do things. Now, today we're going to do something a little bit unusual, is that some of you guys who By the way, if you're a partner here tonight, okay, I know some of you guys are partners here tonight. Everything we're going to demo for you, you already have access to. It's yours. It's in the system. And if you're like scratching your head and you're like, what? I didn't know I had this. You need to connect with the back office because you have all of this a la carte. Okay. That's not the word. A la carte means individually, like carte blanche or something like that. I forgot what the sophisticated word for this is. But anyway, if you're a partner, everything we're showing you today, learn it, understand it, you have full access to it, and make sure you're utilizing it. Some of you guys are not yet partners here, and if you're not ready to become a partner, we're actually going to give you an opportunity. We're going to give you an opportunity to get this technology tonight, okay? We're going to give you an opportunity to get this technology tonight, okay? And we're going to actually not only give you an opportunity to get this technology tonight, we are going to give you some free leads, okay? So for those of you that stay all the way to the end, okay, all of you that stay all the way to the end, you guys are going to get 100 free leads, no obligation, no questions asked. And those 100 free leads should be at least enough to get you started to some level in this business. And along with the 100 free leads, we're also going to give you the ability to sign up literally tonight and activate the Deal Driven app. And that's fantastic. So for those of you that are not ready to become part, by the way, if you're ready to become a partner, please let us know today through chat. You know, if you're talking to team members already and you're like, hey man, I'm just here because I'm ready to get started, just put that in chat and we'll have the appropriate team member touch base with you. But what we're going to show you guys today is what I consider to be a must-have, an absolute must-have if you want to be a real estate investor. Whether you've never done a deal before and you're just trying to figure out how to do your first deal, or you got 20 deals or 200 deals behind you, what we're going to show you today is an absolute must-have if you want to be successful as an investor. You know, I could tell you, I've been in this thing for over 2 decades now, about 22 years, going on 23 years. And throughout my career, there were certain things during different times that were must-haves, okay? Like 20 years ago, there were certain must-haves, okay? Like for instance, 20 years ago, it was absolutely critical for me to have access to certain tax records because if I did not have access to those certain tax records, there was no way for me to do any kind of contacting of owners. The way they were very antiquated then, it was very difficult to get them then. It was very much a manual experience then, but that was an absolute must-have 20 years ago. Access to tax records in the way that I was getting them was an absolute must-have, and had I not done that correctly, that potentially would have prevented me from doing deals in this business. Somewhere along the line, there was another must-have in this business. You know, I started doing a couple deals and I got absolutely destroyed on the back end of it. What I mean by that is I got destroyed by contractors. They ripped me off. They took advantage of me. And I lost a tremendous amount of money. So there came a point in this time where I encountered another must-have. I needed to figure out, without having any previous contractor experience, how to set up that side of the business in such a way that it would no longer bleed me. That became a must-have. Somewhere along the line, I encountered another must-have. I started scaling this business. I started growing this business. And I realized that I could no longer be the only guy like making calls, taking calls and all this, that if I wanted to scale, if I wanted to start making like real money in this business, I must have figure out how to bring people on board to help me, especially in the marketing side. It became a must-have. If I wanted to go to the next level, it was a must-have to be able to do that. Somewhere along the line, I encountered the fact that I started doing multiple deals. There was more than just one deal going on. I had 4, 5, then 10, 20 deals going on. And what I was being drawn, I was being buried. I was drowning in my own files and processing these and getting them to closings. I was messing things up. I was miscoordinating things. I wasn't coordinating buyers and sellers correctly. And so at that point, I started realizing that I needed a closing coordinator. There was a time in his business where I realized that beyond just having callers, beyond having bird dogs, that if I wanted to get to the next level, I must have an actual person getting me there, like a CEO. Okay. I literally realized that I need to have a full-time ops person. That if I wanted to get past a certain level, it was another must-have. That's where, by the way, Julie came into my life. So my point is this, as I progressed in this business for the last 22 years, there were points in time where I encountered what I call must-haves. In order to get to a certain level or get past a certain level, there were certain things that I must have done. Well, I could tell you, there is no question that in today's environment, among other things, there's an absolute must-have, and you must have access to technology. If in today's marketplace, you're still antiquated and you're still doing things the old way, you're still gathering information the old way, you're still processing the old way, you're still getting records the old way, you're still formulating your opinions about what values are, how I used to do it, by getting different sources to comp things out. And if you're still in that mode, if you think that it any longer that, my goodness, there's a house, 50 miles down the road, and the only way I could see it is I have to physically jump in my car and take 3 hours out of my day to do that, you're old school. And so right now, technology, I used to say gives you an advantage. It doesn't give you an advantage anymore. Technology is an absolute must-have in the real estate investing business right now. Now, I say that, but I say that in a very positive way. And let me tell you what I mean by that. As much as technology is a must-have today, real estate overall is not a very technologically savvy business. It just isn't. Like, for instance, I'm a perfect example of that. I have never, and to this day, if I get one of these, like a phone, I'm calling one of my kids, right? I'm calling one of my kids like, hey man, how about I buy you lunch and then you set this up for me? I've never really been a technology savvy individual. And as a whole, I could tell you real estate is not a technology savvy industry. It's like a dichotomy though, right? You think about it, you must have it, but we happen to be around a bunch of people that don't know how to use it, which means if you do use it, it will give you an advantage. You got to use it, But even using it, because of the industry as a whole is not a very technologically savvy industry, you will absolutely gain an advantage over your competition. The ability to make decisions right now is very important. See, what happens in the old days when I started in this business, if I was to do a deal, and I know some of you guys are going to be like, no, Pete, this is not true. I promise you, this is true. But in order for me to do real estate deals before, I would have to coordinate multiple things. Like, for instance, my lender would want pictures, right? Like, they're not going to lend on a property they can't see, right? So like, this is really like silly. But do you guys know back then that if I wanted to do a deal 20 years ago, right, that my lender, who might not even been in Atlanta, would literally have me drive to that house and and they literally would give me like this diagram, like crazy. I kid you not. They would give me a diagram of the house, of like, a typical house, and I'd have to take about over 100 pictures and get it to them. Okay, that sounds like insane. But you know what? With technology now, you can actually access information about properties. I haven't done that in over a decade, driven to a property and had to literally prove to my lender that this property exists, right? Back then, appraisers, this again, for those of you that are like new in this business, you're thinking this is not true, but I promise you, I would literally have to go meet my appraisers at the property and bring backup information to support values, right? Who does that anymore? You just don't do that anymore, right? Do you know this information I used to bring could now be gotten right from your phone? And you don't have to be an appraiser. You don't have to be an appraiser to access the level information that back then only appraisers can get. You guys know that when I started this business, that if I wanted to like I'm looking at a house and I'm like, I wonder who owns that house. I would physically have to get in my car, go to Fulton County, it's the county I live in, Fulton County Courthouse, go to a small room. And when I say small, this sucker was small. Like, and they would only let a couple of our guys in there at a time. So I would get in line. I have a wait. And when I say a wait, it's hands up in the air. Could be a 20-minute wait, could be a 2-hour wait. But if I wanted access to that house across the street, that's how I do it. I go to courthouse, I go to a little room, I'd wait in line, and I'd physically, they were like, I forgot they're called, flashcards. I would pull them up, and the reality is 90% of them were wrong anyway. But that's how I used to do things. It is, so now let me shorten the gap, because I need to flip this over to Julie, because really we're here because of Julie. Everything now that we talk about could be done from this. But it's not only everything we talk about, it's more important that it's everything that you need to execute the deals. You know, we're not talking fluff here tonight. We're not just saying, oh, look how cool this is. And then you're like, well, when would I use it? Well, you really don't need it, but look how cool it is. Not only are we sharing stuff with you tonight that is like really, really cool, but if you want to do real estate deals, you need it all. Like literally everything that Julie's about ready to demo, you need. I mean, it comes as part of being an investor. So the only question is, since you need it, are you going to get it from the comforts of your own home, from an easy chair, from a phone, or are you going to do it the way I used to do it? Because you could still compile it the old-fashioned way. We're not sitting, Julie and I are not sitting here today saying it's either this way or the highway. That's not what we're saying. We're saying everything we're going to show you, you could still do. You could still jump in your car and do driving around. You could still go to the courthouse. You could still buy records, you know, from companies that sell records. You could still do it all, but it'll be a lot more expensive, a lot slower, a lot more time consuming, and a lot more fret with errors. Because what Julie's ready to show you here is real-time information. Like literally real time, the latest and greatest information. And so when we developed this app called Deal Driven, we did it from a perspective, it was very simple. Hey, we're real estate investors. What is our perfect scenario? Like if we could since we're starting from scratch, you know, we're not starting from like a ready-made product and adding it on. We're literally started this from scratch with a very good friend, Ben Howerton. And we literally would get together over a number of weeks. I would say, Ben, perfect case scenario, we want to do this. Hey, perfect case scenario, we'd want to do this. Perfect case scenario, we want to do this. And over a period of time, that's where Deal Driven was derived from and how it was conceived and how it was born. Now, a year or so down the road, it is lights out. And I can tell you everything Julie's about ready to show you, it's only getting better and better and better and better. So I'm going to flip this over to Julie, but I will tell you right now, if you want to do real estate deals, you absolutely need the Deal Driven app. Julie, what you got for us?
And thank you so much, Peter. I really appreciate those kind words that you had about me. Thank you so much. You know, one other thing that I would like to mention about Deal Driven is, you know, when we started this, what I wanted to do, or what we wanted to do, Pete, is we wanted to be able to provide a software that everybody can afford and that everybody can use, right? Because there's a lot of software out there that costs $2,500, $3,000 just to get the software, just to start. Okay. If you, and maybe I'm just speaking, but if you were like I was when I first got started in this business, that was an absolute unattainable amount of money to be able to get the information that I needed. So not only were we able to derive all this information and create this product, but I really feel like it's a product that anybody can afford. Okay, so that no matter where you are right now, you can always afford it. Now, as always, because we always include everything with our partners, you get this included along with 1,000 skip traces a month. So, when I thought about how I was going to present tonight, um, I started thinking about this. A lot of people will say, well, Julie, you've been doing this a long time. So, yeah, you can do it, right? If I were to demo this product for you in my town, you'd probably be like, well, you already know everything there. Yeah, I do because I work my town. That's what you should do. So, the way that I'm going to present tonight is this. I'm going to present tonight as if I were to move from where I am now into a completely different city. And if I were in this completely different city, how would I start a real estate investing business utilizing this software from a different city? Well, I'm going to blow your mind even more. I don't even have this city picked out yet. I want to just show you how powerful it is. Because no matter where you put me in the United States, utilizing this software with what I'm about to show you, I'm going to be able to fish for eternity, right? I know you guys have all heard, give a fish, you'll eat for a day. Teach them how to fish, you'll eat forever, right? So that's what I want to show you tonight. So what I would like to ask from everybody here is I'm going to start out with one city. So if in the chat, let me know where you're calling from, and I'll show you exactly what I would do if I were you. Okay. I want to start from the very beginning on how to utilize this software. So wherever you are right now, give me your city and your state, and we will go from there. Okay. I see a lot of different cities coming up, right? So we are going to start with, let's just say Chicago, Illinois. I've never, ever, ever visited Chicago. I know it's an awesome place. I've just never been there. So I'll show you how utilizing this app, I can go and do business in Chicago. Sound good? I know, Sandra, you're from Gainesville, Georgia. Girl, that's my stomping ground. So I know that city pretty well. I was actually born there. So I'm going to share my screen now, Peter, and we're going to talk about Chicago, Illinois for just a minute. Okay. And how I can tell while utilizing this app, how I can tell what the good areas are. Okay. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to do some virtual driving for dollars, and we're going to build a list that way. Then I'm going to show you how to build an additional list inside of Chicago. Sound good? All right. Perfect. Okay. So I want to go to this area, and I'm going to just pick Chicago, Illinois. Okay. So I picked Chicago. Now, you guys all know Chicago is enormous. I know that, even being from Georgia, how big Chicago is, right? So when you city center something, it's going to put you around the courthouse of a city, okay? That's going to be the city center. This is all industrial, so I want to look out a little bit, okay? And I want to try to get into some residential areas. You could go north, south, east, or west, depending on where you are, and find this said area. Give me just a minute. I'm waiting for my computer to update. Sorry, guys. Give me just a minute. I'm waiting for this to pull up. Chicago is such a big town. Let's go to, let's see. maybe trying to find a little town outside of Chicago to make this a little bit easier, Pete. Just 1 second. Sorry, guys. It's such a big city. It's hard to, hey, Peter, while I'm looking for this, will you take over for just a second while I let my computer catch up?
Yeah, absolutely. And just so you guys understand what Julie's doing, Julie's literally pinpointing an area, no rhyme or reason. It's just an area I think that somebody gave you. What's the power of this app? This app takes one very important thing out of play: boundaries. Sometimes, I'll be talking to people, and I've literally talked to real estate investors that have been doing real estate for like years. This is not brand new people. This is years. And we're trying to figure out, like, how do you overcome the challenge they're in? And sometimes the challenge is I'm stuck. I mean, I'm in this thing for 10 years. I've done 50 or 100 deals, and I'm stuck. And then I'll talk to them a little further, and I realize the reason they're stuck is because they have this like imaginary circle in the world they live in that only goes 20 miles or 50 miles from where they live. And I'll say, well, why is that? And they'll tell me something. Well, we're confined. We can't get past this 50 miles because we can't get into those areas, or it's too far for us to do research in those areas. Or guys, what Julie is doing is she's sitting in Dahlonega, Georgia, and she's literally randomly picking out a totally random area across the United States. And she's going to get pinpointed information exactly what is taking place in that area. I mean, this is like, I remember when I was in the franchising business, I used to have a map on my wall, and we set up 15 franchises ultimately. In the areas that we set them up, we used to put a pin in there. Like, we would put a pin. You could literally put a pin in where you want to do deals, and you could utilize this deal-driven app, okay? You could literally utilize this deal-driven app to get every piece of information you need to execute a deal, to basically do due diligence on the deal, and to make sure it's a good deal versus a bad deal, and feel fairly confident that you didn't make a mistake. This is why this is such a game changer. And obviously this goes without saying, Julie's being a little bit nuts today. She's like, well, I live in Dahlonega. I'm not going to do Dahlonega. But the reality is most of us are going to use it right where we live, right? Can you imagine? Can you imagine right where you live having every single piece of information you ever needed and desired about every single owner, be able to access it at a click, be able to jump in your car literally from your phone, okay? And Julie's going to show you how you could do this right from your phone, and literally make decisions. Deal, no deal, deal, no deal, deal, no deal. Okay, let's put in the follow-up queue. Deal, no deal. Okay, follow-up queue. Oh, we got a deal. Let's move forward. It's absolutely mind-boggling. This is next level. Not only next level technology, because I don't know if it's next level technology. I'm not that next level, but it's next level in terms of being a real estate investor. From how I did things to what is currently possible. If you follow me at all on social media or you follow me through Partner Driven, I tell people that there's a huge fallacy out there. And that is a fallacy that there are no shortcuts to success, that the only way to get to successful is to work hard. And I tell you, that is that's a lie. It's a lie they preach to you. Because every one of us knows some extremely hardworking people that are the most broke people that we've ever met, right? Hard work is one of the essential pieces of being a successful real estate, being successful anything. But there are absolutely, positively shortcuts to success. And that's what Julie's showing to you tonight. Right, Julie?
Exactly. And guys, you know what? Sometimes in life you fail a little bit, and tonight I failed a little bit. I'm actually in a small town in Louisiana, and my internet is not allowing me to virtually search in the area of Chicago that I'm looking for. However, I am going to show you how to pull leads. And everybody give me a round of applause for failing on a webinar in front of everybody tonight. That is okay. That is okay. But I'm still going to go to Chicago and figure it out, because I'm not going to stop there, right? So when I go to the lead building search screen, okay, I'm going to enter an area called, obviously, Chicago, Illinois. Now, I'm looking for this area, but if I were to just literally reach out to every owner in Chicago, that would not be a good use of my time, would it? No, it wouldn't. I'm going to do a 20-mile search radius around the city center of Chicago. Then I'm going to start looking for some motivated sellers. Well, let's talk about it. What do you think constitutes as a motivated seller? Give me a hint. Do you think if you lived in Florida and you had a house sitting vacant in Chicago, Illinois, do you think maybe I might want to sell? Let me tell you, having a house sitting vacant is never, ever, ever a good option, right? So let's say I want to look for all the vacant houses in Chicago, Illinois, within 20 miles. Also, that the owners are out of state. Now, right here, make sure you click all, because what we're doing is called lead stacking. Okay. All right. So now I'm looking for vacant properties in Chicago that have out of state owners. Well, you know, Pete, do I really want to call a vacant property where they owe as much as the house is worth? Am I going to be able to make money off of that? Not really. I mean, there are some creative strategies. That's not what I'm looking for today. So what I want to do is I'm going to filter these search results down a little bit more to kind of go over what I'm looking for. So I'm going to see, I want townhouses, duplexes, triplexes, quads, and row houses. There's a lot of places that there aren't row houses. However, maybe in Chicago, Philadelphia, you're going to see some row houses. Here is where I'm going to put in the equity, Pete. So I'm looking for anybody that has a vacant home, the owner lives out of state, and they have at least 40% equity or more. Okay. Wow. Look at this. There's 1,058 properties in a 20-mile search radius that are sitting vacant. The owner doesn't live there and they have at least 40% equity. Well, I want to narrow down this a little bit more. Maybe I only want to work a certain price range of homes. Okay. So I want the valuation, which is what the property's worth, to be at least 50,000, but to be no more than, let's say, $250,000. Right? So now I'm looking at both sides of things. Okay, that narrowed our search down to 807. Well, I really want to get to even more motivated sellers. So I'm going to check the last sold date. I want this house to have been purchased more than, let's say, I want them to be purchased before January 1st of 2016. Now you're getting down to a hot list. So right now we have 242 properties right here in Chicago, Illinois. Well, you know what? I want to narrow this down a little bit more. Maybe I'm only looking for something that has at least, at most, 3 bedrooms and at most 2 bathrooms. I'm looking for 3 2s and below. I also want them to have at least be a 2 and a 1. So anywhere between 2-bedroom bathroom to a 3 and 2. Now, what that's done is that's pulled my list down to 202. I would have worked a list that had 1,000 in it, but if you're really wanting to narrow this down, we can keep going further. Well, you know what? Maybe I only want houses that was built after a certain date. So I'm going to pick, I don't know. I want them to have been built after 1970, January 1st of 1972. I'm going through all of this stuff just to show you all of the different ways you can filter this information. you would have never been able to do this at your local, at your county, would you have, Peter? I mean, if you would have went to the people at the county and said, I want this, 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 and this, you would have literally had to narrow that down. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to work this list. I'm going to create a new list here. And I'm going to call it Super Hot Chicago. Now, what the system is doing right now is it's creating a list for you so that you can go in and you can look at all of these properties. I'm going to skip trace them to find the information. Once this little button turns blue for me, then I'm going to be able to actually go to my list. Check that out. Really, guys, that was done in a matter of seconds, and I mean seconds. You can look at this from a card view, or you can look at it from a list view. So you're going to get LLCs. Some properties are owned by companies. Some properties are owned by individuals. You can go and skip trace all of these, or maybe I just want to do a few of them. Let me just pick these few properties right here. And I want to skip trace them. So immediately what I'm doing is I'm going out and I'm looking for their cell phone numbers, their house phone numbers, their email addresses, so that I can contact them, okay? So right now that's running in the background, but I want you to see the amount of information that you can get from one particular lead. So on this property right here, I know it's owned by this gentleman right here. He lives in Indiana. He doesn't even live in Chicago, Illinois. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right? It's 1,100 square foot. They bought it in 2013 for $10,000. And the estimated valuation is about $100,000 right here. Okay. So it was quick claimed to him. I would assume from the trust, probably somebody left this to him and it was shown that he purchased this for $10,000. It is literally amazing, the information that you can get right here in your fingertip. Check this out. Let's look at the owner detail. Well, let's see if we got any phone numbers. Yeah, we do. We got a cell phone number for him. And you guys can all see this here. It didn't come back with any email addresses. That's okay. What are some other names associated with him? Same names. Maybe I wanted to go look at this property right here where I am right now. So I could go and get a street view image of this property in Chicago. Give it just a second. And what it's doing is it's literally pulling. Check this out. Like this to this day still blows my mind that I pulled a list for a property in Illinois that the owner lives in Indiana, and I can literally look at this house. Check this out. Right here. So from here, I could call the seller or I could send him a piece of mail. I'm going to move this picture around and I'm going to show you why in just a second. I'm going to change the view of this property because if I want to send him a piece of direct mail or the seller a piece of direct mail, then what I've done is I've saved this as my primary photo. Okay. So Pete, what's some different marketing strategies that you can use when contacting a motivated seller?
Well, I tell you what I grew up with, Julie, because I was flat out broke, in which to this day works phenomenally. I did a tremendous amount of door knocking. Okay. I'll tell you the other thing I did. I don't think I've ever discussed this with people, but when I found neighborhoods like that, you're looking at a neighborhood right here, you're looking at certain characteristics. I literally would find characteristics find neighborhoods of certain properties, and I would litter them like for weekends with bandit signs. I did door knocking. I did bandit signs. As I started making a little bit more money in this business, I started doing direct mail, strategically going after certain owners that I liked. You know, obviously, as we transition into the world that we're in right now, there is also, you know, internet and Facebook marketing. But direct mail, I think, my goodness, if I spend several $1 million on direct mail, it's worked before, and it's one of those strategies that works to this day.
Absolutely. And utilizing the literal, Google photo of this property, I am able to check this out. I'm able to send a piece of direct mail, which I've already went in the system and put my name and my phone number and everything. From here, I can send a piece of direct mail. Look at this. There is literally a picture of that house. A picture of the house where he lives. It's going to send it to his personal address in Indiana. It's going to have my name, my phone number, my email address. It's going to reference the property. If you saw a picture of a home that's yours in the mail, do you think you're going to take a look at it? Absolutely you are. So that's just a few of the things that you can do here. Or like you said, just pick up the phone and call the seller. You've got their phone number right here. You can call or text directly from this app, which makes it super easy and convenient for you, okay? Now, would anybody like me to show them how to pull some really hot pre-foreclosures in their area? Without even asking, I'm going to do it, right? So let's look at another place. Let me look in the chat and see where else we can look. Okay, I see St. Augustine, Florida. Okay, so I'm going to pull up some lists inside of St. Augustine, Florida. Let me go back here. I don't want to be in Chicago anymore, so I'm going to clear my search. I'm going to look for St. Augustine, Florida. Oh, by the way, I would like to mention my biggest wholesale deal was in St. Augustine. To whoever's on this call, I'll never forget that deal. It was a beach house. All right, so we're going to stay 20 miles around the city center of St. Augustine. Now, I'm going to move this out a little bit because I'm getting the ocean here. I know St. Augustine pretty well. It's right on the ocean. I want to go look at some pre-foreclosures. Okay, so it's a little bit smaller of a town, St. Augustine is. So I'm going to go to additional filters, single family home, townhouses, duplex, triplexes, quads. I don't know of any row houses in Florida. I want at least 35% equity or more. I mean, check this out. You've got 34 properties just in St. Augustine, Florida, that are going to lose their home back to the bank that have 35% equity or more. Remember, equity is the difference between what someone owes on their property and what's it worth. You owe it to yourself to call these individuals and help them out of this situation, don't you? And that problem is only going to perpetuate as the months go by and as this moratorium lifts. Look at all these potential deals just in St. Augustine. I'm going to check this out a little bit further and kind of see what some of these people, what they owe. I'll say pre-fours. St. Aug. I'm going to wait for that list to pull. Now, I'll tell you, St. Augustine's a little bit different of a place. You're going to see lots of high-end homes here, and you're going to see some lower-end homes. But you've got beach houses here. I mean, it's the oldest city in America. So I want to go to my list. Okay. Take that into list view. We're going to look at a few of these. So this individual right here, we've even got a company here. check this out. This LLC, right, has a total loan balance of $95,000. The property is worth, the comps are all over the place, probably somewhere between 350 and 440. They are set to lose their home back to the bank. They have been served a notice of default, and they only owe 95,000. Don't you think that you could go in and meet with them and make them an offer to buy that house, pay off the mortgage, and put a little bit of money in their pocket? Yeah, you can. And this same story is all across America right now. Okay. So the little bit that I wanted to show you about Deal Driven tonight is that no matter where you are, you can go and search these properties. And for just tonight, I'm going to put up a link. Okay. Because obviously, you know, I want you to be a partner of ours. Why? Because we want more partners. And selfishly, the more partners we have out there doing deals, the more money we make. But if you're not convinced of that yet, at the very least, you owe it to yourself to just go ahead and get started in this business. You need this type of technology. So just for tonight, Peter, what we're going to do is I personally put the criteria in for you. Okay. I want you to put the link up, Kristen, to everybody on this call. Peter and I are going to give you 100 free seller leads. That's their names, phone numbers, and email addresses. Are you seeing this in the chat? At the very least tonight, if you've made it all the way to the end, get your leads, right? Check it out. You don't have to be a partner to use this technology. Now, if you are a partner and use this technology, we're really going to help you. But either way, we want to give you something tonight for taking time out of your life to invest in yourself, okay? And invest in the knowledge that you're going to gain, all right? Sorry, I wasn't able to do exactly what I told you I was going to be able to do tonight. But I hope I was able to give you a little bit of insight on some of the lists that you're able to pull, some of the things that are available to you. Okay. Who on here is going to get your 100 free leads? Give me a yes in the chat. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
And
go ahead and take advantage.
Julie, I just want to mention, if you're already a partner, you already have access to all this, right, Julie?
Oh yeah, if you are already a partner, you get 1,000 of these a month anyway.
Yeah, so if you're already a partner, you don't need to do this. You already have access. If you're not a partner yet, okay, if you're not a partner yet, then you definitely want to take advantage of this. If you're, I see some questions, you're in Canada. Yeah, if you're in Canada, absolutely. You can get access. You know, obviously the deals you and I are going to do if we become partners that we're going to do, we're going to be here. So start there, pull some leads here, make some calls. Let's get some deals going. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, Julie, phenomenal night. Phenomenal night. Once again, we did what I think we always want to do. We want to deliver shortcuts. We want to deliver shortcuts to as many people as possible, both partners and non-partners. If you're a partner here tonight and you're like, wow, yeah, exactly. You have access to all this. And if you didn't know that, then you need to get plugged into the back office, and so they could really tell you the days of the week we do training on this and all that. If you're not a partner here tonight and you were here for only specific reason that you're like, tonight's the night I want to join, Kristen, if you could put, or somebody could put in chat the phone number that they can call. We have some members on standby. But if you're not ready to become a partner, then you need to at least grab your 100 leads and get the free trial of the Deal Driven that Julie showed you, and really start elevating yourself in the real estate investing business. So Julie, phenomenal night. I appreciated what you did. I'm going to let you say the final words, but on behalf of myself and all the amazing people that help all this happen. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I personally look forward to seeing Julie, aren't we going to be gone next week? No, we're going to be here, right? But next week, at the end of next week, we're all, Julie and I and Ira and Brian and Chelsea and Rafa, we're heading to the West Coast, going to do a working week there, but the next week we'll still be here. So anyway, on behalf of myself and everybody else, I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate the support, and I look forward to working with you. Julie, any parting words?
Yes, amen to everything you said. The only thing I want to add, guys, for those of you sitting on the fence wondering if this business is right for you, right? The best way to learn is to get out there and try it. If you don't try, then you're never going to get to where you want to be. Put yourself out there. Give yourself time to be successful. Learn this business. And I really, really hope utilizing this beautiful software that we painstakingly put together, it gets you closer and closer to your dreams. Go ahead and click the link in the chat. Get our free trial. Give it a try. Get those 100 free leads. Give those sellers a call. Go on appointments, whether they're deals or not. Okay? Yes, I said that. Go to appointments, whether they're deals or not, if you're new. You'll learn more in the field than you'll ever learn on any Zoom call or with any app. Okay? So thank you, guys. I'm going to go cook some dinner. I have some friends over. We're going to have some chicken wings, which is my favorite meal. But I will see you later, Pete. Thank you guys for everything. So glad to see everybody tonight. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.